Hi guys, Tracy here, and today I'm going to be showing you the Spellbinders Platinum 6 die cutting and embossing machine. Here is the box right here. I'm going to open it up and show you what comes inside and do a little demo and tell you a little bit about what I like about this die cutting machine. Spellbinders asked me to make a couple of projects with this machine, and they sent me the machine and the tool that I'm going to show you. It's called the all-in-one tool, and also a couple of dies as well. They sent me all of those things so that I could work with these and share my projects with you guys. So thank you so much to them for supplying me with this machine and the dies, because I absolutely love this machine. So let me get it out of the box. It does come wrapped in plastic and it's well packed, as you can see, and it is a heavy little machine. One thing that is really striking about this machine is how small its footprint is. This is a full-size die cutting machine, so the dimensions of the cutting pads are 6 by 8.5. So this is a full-size machine. It's the same size cutting pads as what I'm used to using. When you get it, the handle is not attached, and what I really love about it is how it folds up into such a tiny little footprint. I just adore that. So here in this package come all of the items that come along with this. So we have an instruction manual, we have an embossing mat or pad, then we have an embossing mat, we have 2 cutting plates, and we have a platform. And so these are all of the items that you need to die cut and to emboss with. And I really love that it includes the tan mat, because that can be hard to find if it doesn't come included. So I'm really pleased with that. Spellbinders always, I have another Spellbinders machine. I have their Grand Caliber, and I love that they include so many things and don't make you have to buy extra mats in order to do embossing properly. So I thought I'd change my angle here so that you can see how easy it is to put the handle in. This is really the only assembly that has to happen, and you can actually take the handle off and on to help with storage, depending on the size of your shelf and how much space you have. Sometimes it's helpful to be able to take a handle off of a die cutting machine and be able to just store it away in a smaller kind of compartment. I tend to leave my handles on mine because I like to be able to just pull it out and use it without any assembly, but it's nice to have the option. So the handle comes with this black screw and a little silver washer, and you just put the washer on the screw, just like that. It's easy peasy, and then you just put this screw and the washer right inside of the handle, just like that. There's a little hole in the handle. And now you'll get to see it from another angle. You just put the Allen key that comes with the die cut machine, and you just put it inside of that little hole in the handle. And you do have to line up. There's a little straight edge on the thing that sticks out of the machine, and you have to line that up with the straight edge on the edge in the hole itself. So now the machine is ready to use, and I'm going to show you all of the things that come with this machine. So first we have the embossing plate, which is this purpley blue color. It's not going to get mixed up with anything else because it is a different color than the others, so that's nice. Then we have this tan kind of like flexible embossing mat, and then we have 2 cutting pads. And then we have the platform, and the platform has all of the information on it for building the most popular sandwiches that you'll need to use with this machine. So how to build a wafer-thin die sandwich, how to emboss a cut shape, and how to build a single or double-sided embossing folder sandwich. And also how to build a 3D embossing sandwich too is down there too, as well. And you can use steel rule dies with this machine. You just use the steel rule die with the cutting plates above and below it, so you don't use the platform at all for that. Now, Spellbinders also sent me this really cool little tool. It's called a tool-in-one, and I love this tool. It's really wonderful. I'll show you what I love about it. There's a couple things. First of all, it has this this one end that has a wire rotary tool, it kind of twists and turns. You can see it's black right there at the top. That part of the tool, see me rolling my fingers on it, that part of the tool is made to poke little pieces out of the die that get stuck inside of the die. Then the other side has a poking tool, like a piercing tool, which is really great for either piercing. You can use it as a piercer for piercing paper, but it's also really great to use for poking little tiny bits out of your die cut piece that are left behind. And the tool actually opens, and you can store, it comes with an extra little tool, a little spatula. You can store the spatula right inside. I love that. I love that I don't have to keep track of that little spatula, because in my scrap room, it would definitely get lost. So I'm going to show you how that works once again, because I think I was a little bit off screen when I did it. So the rotary end doesn't come off, but you twist to open the tool to get at the extra tool inside. And I'm just going to switch the piercer for the spatula. So now you kind of squeeze together the two rings at the bottom, and then you can put the spatula in. And it just kind of holds it in place with friction. And then that spatula can be used to pry your die cut away from the die. And then you can put it back inside, of course. I just love this so much. I just wanted to show you how it works. It's nifty. I love it. So you just pull the two collars together, and that opens up the top of the tool, and you can just put your extra piercer or the spatula right in there. And when you let go and the two collars move apart from each other, it's locked into place and it's not going anywhere. So the first die set that I'm going to show you that they sent me is from the designer series Kaleidoscope, and the one that I got is called Geo Flower. I thought that this one would be really fun to work with on a scrapbooking page. So they come in these packages that you kind of open the flap, and then the dies are all inside of the little pocket. So I have 3 small little shapes that fit inside of the larger shape, and then that large Geo Flower. And I love the idea of maybe piecing together different pattern papers to create a Geo Flower, or maybe using it as a background on a scrapbooking page. And so I wanted to cut this, and so I'm following the how to build a wafer-thin die sandwich. So I start with the platform, and then I have a cutting mat, a piece of paper, then the die, and then another cutting mat. And I find it easier to die cut on my plain work surface without having a work mat down, because I find that the work mat tends to shift around a little bit under the pressure of the die cutting machine. But you'll notice that when you use it just on a plain desk surface, it doesn't move around at all. It stays put. It's a very solid machine. I love how it works. And so you just roll it through, and look at that. It's perfectly cut with one pass. It's so pretty. Look at that. It's very intricate. And then you get all these little squares and funny shaped rectangles and triangles and whatnot, and they would make a beautiful mosaic as well. And the centerpiece is usable as well. So I cut another one out of pattern paper just because it's just so much fun. I thought, why cut one when you can cut 2? So they're really pretty. I like how they come out. That's going to be a fun shape to work with in a scrapbooking page. I specifically chose dies, one die that I could use on a card and one die that I could use on a scrapbook page. And these leftover pieces would be really great for piecing together to either you could piece together the original shape, or you could just piece them together to make any kind of mosaic. So now I'm just grabbing my second package of dies here. These are Shapeabilities, and the theme is holiday. And the ones that I have are called Snowflakes Snippets. There are 5 dies in this package, and they're just inside the little pocket, just like the other set. I love that they come out so easily. So here are the dies. There's one that's big. It is 3 by 3, and then there are two 2 by 2 inch, and then there's there's two 1 by 1 inch shapes as well. And they're all different partial snowflake shapes. And since they're snowflakes, I'm going to cut them out in white cardstock. So I just have this piece of white cardstock here. I'm just going to cut it in half so that it fits through the machine. And I'm going to make the same sandwich, following again the instructions on that base plate on the platform. So I do the platform and then a cutting mat and then a piece of cardstock and then the die, and then I'm just going to cut all 5 of those dies at the same time. So I'm just going to lay them out on my paper like this and then top it off with the second cutting mat. And now it's ready to go through my machine. This is the fun part. I really love working out my aggression on these die cut machines. It takes a little bit of muscle, but not too much once you get it going. I just wasn't sure because it's a new machine. I wanted to make sure I didn't have it loaded improperly, but it wasn't too tight at all. It worked fine. So I'm just going to roll it right through like that. And have a look at how this one cuts. Now these are pretty intricate, so I wasn't sure if they would cut smoothly with one pass or if I'd have to use a shim or pass it through twice, but they came out beautifully just with one pass and without a shim. And as you can see, I'm using that tool in a way that you're supposed to kind of use the roller tool on the die itself, but it can also sometimes loosen some of the die pieces that are stuck in the paper as well. But really this pokey end of it, the paper piercer, does a much better job of poking out the extra pieces. Some of these shapes have like a little intricate spiral, and so the piece is sticking. It's not really stuck as in it didn't cut, it's just that it's hard to untangle it from the die cut piece as you're kind of clearing away the extra pieces. So I'm really pleased with how this looks. It really cuts so smoothly. And I'm even thinking that I could use some of the offcuts as little decorative pieces as well. So that turned out really beautifully. I'm just going to have a look at these other pieces. Now this is how you're supposed to use this tool. You just kind of roll it along the top of the die while it's upside down, and then you can use the paper piercer to get the die cut out of the die, and then use the paper piercer to just poke out the little extra pieces that are stuck in place, and they come out really easily. Moving on to one of the smaller ones here. All the pieces come out pretty easily from that. It's fun using that tool. I like it. And then if your die cut piece is stuck inside of your die, there are little holes in the die that you can stick your paper piercer through, and that'll loosen the die cut piece and allow you to just pull it right out. Now I wanted to try out the embossing feature on this die cut machine, and none of the dies that I ordered with it came with the embossing feature. So I'm just going to pull out a nestability die that I have here. I'm just going to pull out one of these ovals, and these oval dies have, not only do they cut out an oval, but they have the potential to emboss an inner oval as well, and I love that look. It's one of my favorite things to do with cards, and so I'm just going to cut off a chunk of this scrap paper in this really pretty blue color, and I'm going to go ahead and make my cutting sandwich again, which again is a platform and then a cutting pad, a cutting mat, and then the paper. I just wanted to show you that die up close. So it's that extra little bit around the inside that will emboss. So I've got the platform and then the cutting mat and then a piece of paper and then the die facing down and then another cutting mat. I'll roll that through super fast. So I'll just speed up some of this because you don't need to see it all in real time. So even without using the embossing feature, there's a very slight embossed edge around the outside of that oval. But you see, when I use the cutting mat, like the beige mat and then the blue cutting pad, the blue embossing pad, I get an even more distinct embossed edge around that, and I really love that. So this machine works amazingly. I'm really, really pleased with it. So here's how it looks again in the box. Thank you so much to Spellbinders and Scrapbook.com for sending me this wonderful die cut machine and the dies as well. I will leave some links in the information section below in case you would like to purchase these for yourself or check them out on Scrapbook.com. Here are some cards that I made with this machine and the snowflake die. Oh, they were so much fun. I do have a process video on my channel that shows how they came together. I'll link it in the information section below as well as in a card right here. Take care and have a really great scrappy week.